Hey guys, how's it going? Shimbob here, and today I just wanted to discuss a little bit about the likeliness and potential of Destiny 2 becoming an esport, either like right after launch or further down the track. And when I was doing a bit of research and taking some notes for this video, I had four main questions down, which were: can it become an esport? Will it become an esport? Why? And will that be on PC or console if it does? And I kind of just wanted to start this video off by addressing the first two questions right out of the gate and say yes to both of them. Yes, I think it can become an esport, and yes, I think it will become an esport. And just spend the rest of this video sort of talking more about why I think this is the case, and then also discussing a bit about whether this will be on the PC or the console. So to start off with, I'll address one main sort of concern I had personally, and I imagine everyone else does too, is the fact that Destiny 2 doesn't seem to be launching with any private or custom matches like Destiny 1 finally got later on in the game's life cycle. But to that, I would also say that they seem like they're launching it with the competitive mode. We won't have private matches to do scrims and sort of tournaments or anything like that, but at least they've got competitive focused 4v4 specific game modes to sort of, I guess, ease people into that competitive style and just sort of grow their own competitive scene and game modes. Next, I just wanted to also draw attention to the fact that Activision Blizzard purchased Major League Gaming. That's a pretty big red flag to me to indicate that they have the, I guess, intention of getting this to an esport one day. And when they did make this purchase, it sort of came with the promise that Activision Blizzard titles would, I guess, be at the forefront of competitive gaming. For example, Call of Duty, Overwatch, they're pretty big in esports right now. So while they may not have said it directly, all these sort of partnerships and deals and stuff sort of lean towards the fact that they are sort of wanting competitive. Along with that fact, we all know one of Activision's favorite pastimes, aside from hamstringing the development teams under them, is to make money. And esports is the here and now and future of gaming, and the amount of money they'd stand to make is insane. I think if they got Destiny to become a strong esport, the Twitch streaming would be through the roof, more so than Destiny 1 even. You'd be attracting more competitive players who are, as bad as it sounds, in it to chase glory and get money. Not to say this is the right reason to play, but it happens and it will happen, and it just means more money for Activision, so why wouldn't they try and encourage that? For me, another really big hint, which is actually in the game and the design of it this time round, is the fact that they've had some pretty big changes and overhauls to the way that PvP plays. So all game modes in PvP are now 4v4. That's a pretty massive giveaway. It's sort of the gold standard for console and other online competitive shooters, the non-hero based ones at least, like Halo, Call of Duty. They're, again, massive titles and massive followings, and they're 4v4 arena style shooters, which have been very massive and successful titles for competitive on console as well. So I guess they're the main points that I see from Activision, Bungie, Blizzard and all that for them pushing for a competitive community and an esports sort of scene. And that's one way that sort of games fall into esports, is that the developers really push it quite hard. And while they haven't fully pushed it and made it obvious, I think they put all the infrastructure in and are sort of laying the groundwork for this to sort of come about itself, which is what I'm going to touch on now. And I know that Destiny does have its toxic people in the community like most other games, but at the same time it also has a pretty pure community that at one stage or another throughout the game's life cycle, everyone was in love with the game at some stage. So that's how the competitive and sweats community formed. I mean, you had people making their own small tournaments and rule sets, then trying to game the system by loading into matches together at the same time so they can match up and compete and scrim against each other. I mean, that's some pretty hardcore commitment in the way that the sort of competitive scene Destiny 1 came about. It's pretty impressive. So imagine if you had that amount of commitment and passion and love for the game, but with a bit of a nudge and help from the developers and the esports sort of community. It's hard to see it not happening naturally as well. So they're the main points that I sort of have towards why I think that Destiny will become an esport. It's obviously my opinion that it will, and not necessarily straight away, but eventually, and they're my points for why. So now the other question I sort of had and wanted to answer was, if it does, or when it does, will it be on PC mostly, or will the esports community be on console, probably PS4? So for me personally, my vote would have to go towards PC. I think that's where the competitive community will be mostly, and especially if the game turns into an esport, I think that's where it's going to have to be. There's sort of a weak point, I guess, but the fact that they're taking a little bit longer to do it right, in quotation marks, as far as launching the PC version a couple of months after the console version. It just seems like to me that they might be doing this, I know I'm being a bit optimistic here, just to get everyone into the game, get the ball rolling a bit and stuff like that on console, so everyone can sort of grow a player base, and then when the PC version releases, they can release their, I guess, more competitive modes and start to sort of push for esports then. Another big obvious one for me is the fact that the console servers have like a 10 Hz tick rate. The game's capped at 30 FPS, basically means that it pretty much can't be an esport in 2017, especially because the most optimal version of the game will be on the PC with uncapped frame rate, decent servers, along with BattleNet's fantastic anti-cheat system. I can't see it not being on PC personally. And I think they're going to go the similar sort of route as other sort of arena shooters like Overwatch that have their main competitive community on PC, just because it is the top tier of the game. And with the mouse and keyboard, you can just be a little bit more, I guess, better. I know there's limitations on the console, but that's the thing, there's no limitations really on the PC. So as far as the skill and the quality of the gameplay, it's probably going to be at its best on the PC. And finally, a lot of the current competitive players for Destiny 1 and teams like BSK, IM, and Primal, a lot of their players and stuff are saying that they will be moving over to PC when it releases. They're all sort of building PCs and stuff. And if that's where the best players are, then that's where the esports scene will be. And if they're there and they've already sort of established a bit of an esports scene, well, not esports, but competitive scene in Destiny 1, and they carry that over to the PC with them, then everyone's going to go there, and I think that's where it'll naturally just take place. So guys, that's my thoughts and opinions on whether Destiny 2 will be an esport, why it'll be an esport, and that I think it'll be on the PC when it does come around. Let me know down in the comments if you guys agree or disagree, or if you have any other thoughts or points I might have missed. It was pretty one-sided, this argument towards Destiny 2 being an esport, but that's just because I really, really want it to be. So go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, even subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Cheers.